Hello, and welcome to the Salesforce Center podcast by MassMailer, where we connect with Salesforce experts, customers, and innovators to talk about smarter, more effective email communication within Salesforce. I'm your host, 𝗟𝗘𝗧𝗦, co-founder of MassMailer. In this episode, I'll be joined by Trisha from a prominent healthcare treatment center in the United States. Trisha will outline their journey with MassMailer for Salesforce and the ways it has helped their organization to communicate with their service providers. Let us dive right in.
As you mentioned, are a healthcare organization. So we offer our clients a full continuum of care. So what I mean by that is we have inpatient services. So we have detox and medical unit detox, and then we have residential treatment, inpatient treatment for our clients as well. And then we have 6 outpatient locations across New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut. We're also licensed in the state of Massachusetts to deliver virtual services to folks that reside in Massachusetts as well. In addition to those other states that I mentioned, I would say, always looking to grow. We have recently opened a PHP program. Within the past, I want to say 10 years, we had our extended care sober living program open. So, growing pretty quickly. We have family services, we have recovery coaching services. So the company is definitely one that fosters an idea that anybody within the company has. So always looking to hear new ideas, which then ultimately relates to some of the cool things that we get to do in terms of like programs that we roll out. I actually work in our program development department. So the way that I would explain that department to folks is we really support like the infrastructure of the department. So, of the organization. So managing the systems that we use, I specifically work with Salesforce, as you know. And then, we have other folks on the team who work with our EMR, which is our electronic medical record. And one of the teams that I work really closely with is our business development team. You can think of them as like a sales team, outside sales team, and they are heavy users of Salesforce. So tracking, any potential client that they have from a professional referent, and that professional referent, their account and contact would be housed in Salesforce. And they are out there like servicing those accounts, meeting with those accounts, talking about Mountainside, how can we work together? We have clients that discharge from our care. Maybe that's a good opportunity to send one of our clients to maybe one of the business development's contacts. So where we have found MassMailer really helpful is just being able to scale like our email outreach. So that's kind of why I gave that overview and then specifically went into business development, because they are the heaviest users of MassMailer. So being able to not only scale the outreach to all of the contacts and accounts that we have in Salesforce, but be able to see like such granular details of the outreach. So, like, did they click? Where did they click? Did they unsubscribe? How many times did, you can see like opens versus unique opens. So did somebody open more than once? The email opt-out feature that you guys have that flows onto the contact has been super helpful. Prior to using MassMailer, what the team was actually doing was if they sent out an outreach to like 10,000 people and let's say 500 people wrote back unsubscribe, they were having to manually go into Salesforce and unsubscribe on the contact level. So that was very time consuming for them. I would say that's one of the really nice things about MassMailer. Recently we ran into a little bit of an issue recently where somehow that flow got turned off. So people weren't getting emails, and then I was seeing that they were unsubscribing on the back end. So then I worked with you guys and turned it back on, and then, went in and kind of retroactively updated those contacts so that, because when they look at it, they're not seeing the back end, they're just seeing the contact. Oh, email opt-out's not checked. Like, why didn't they get it? But I think that's been really helpful for them. I also think it's been helpful to have all of their email activity on their account. Historically, when we used another program, it wasn't integrated with Salesforce in the way that MassMailer is like natively integrated. So if you sent an outreach through the other platform we were using, there was no record of that in Salesforce. So I think that's been really nice. It's pretty user friendly. I've actually, one of our other teams who also are heavy Salesforce users sends out, I would say like maybe bi-month, like twice a month, like email blasts, and they, like branded emails. So we also house all of our alumni in Salesforce. So they're able to send, and it's been pretty user friendly. Like they have their own license and they can send things. I also think that with the folks that we're outreaching through MassMailer, it's really nice to be able to have like a branded piece Whereas like in a list email in Salesforce, we don't do those a ton really anymore
Yeah.
because we wanted like a full like year of just using MassMailer to kind of like clean the contact. It's nice to get a little bit more creative with what can be done as far as like the email template. So it's been positive experience. I've seen, folks forward me emails from contacts saying like, this is great, this looks beautiful. I think also it's been better in terms of like the integrity of who we're outreaching
Yeah.
because we are cleaning that email address. I think you actually helped me with some of those flows
Right.
where you clean and validate the email address like once it gets entered into Salesforce so that if it's not valid, it just suppresses the email. So, all of that. I know that's a lot that I just threw at you, but I think it's been, so far so good. There's a couple of things, of course, that have come up that people have asked for that I saved for today's call, but they're like minor things.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah.
And now, before MassMailer, what were you using again? So what system was that?
Sure. So we were using Constant Contact before MassMailer. Yeah, and we were having to export contacts from Salesforce and then manually upload them into Constant Contact. So
okay, so because of the native functionality of MassMailer, you don't have to really do all of that manual work anymore.
Yeah, it eliminates that, which is really nice. And then it also, one of the things that I love selfishly, because sometimes people would forward me emails and say, like, I'm on the road right now. Can you unsubscribe this person? I don't get those emails anymore because if the receiver unsubscribes, they just automatically get unsubscribed in Salesforce. So, yeah.
And who are you actually sending these emails to? Is it patients or providers or both?
I would say so. It's mainly like professional reference. So like providers. So like other like therapists that our business development team is working with, psychiatrists, other treatment centers. So that their accounts that they're assigned that they're working with, each business development rep will, send branded emails to their accounts, based on whatever that need is. And then
and we rolled out a new feature. I'm sure you must have gone through the unsubscribe preferences page is also open. If somebody actually wants to just go to that particular URL and subscribe themselves, they can do it anytime. It's more like a static URL that's actually available. If at all you ever needed to publish something on your website, where they can actually access your information and everything. And if you ever want to publish this on your website too, and that gets loaded back into Salesforce automatically.
Oh, okay. So you're saying like if we had something on the site that was like, do you want to unsubscribe? They could click into the website, unsubscribe, then it would sync their email or suppress their email. Okay.
Correct. Yeah, it's a direct integration back to Salesforce. Yeah, that's possible actually. Yeah.
Very nice.
And how do you manage the template creations and everything? Do you actually use this MassMailer template builder, or you some other builder to build your templates?
We're actually using MassMailer template builder. Yeah.
Okay. And how do you see when it comes to when you build the templates, right? I'm assuming that you're also including some sort of graphics and everything. Do you see that working well with a laptop device versus the mobile device when you open?
Yeah, so I've noticed like it does get a little like I've noticed like minor differences, probably just solely because of the screen size. It's nothing that's like outrageous, but I have noticed that sometimes if it looks really nice on desktop, it gets like the spacing almost gets a little weird on mobile, but nothing that's prohibited us from.
Okay. And do you ever see a need to build landing pages too?
Yeah, I think we did it once. Our marketing team has an editor only license, so they've actually kind of taken it over as far as like building stuff. I do think there is the capability to do that in MassMailer to have a landing page, correct?
So not yet, but that's in the roadmap.
Okay, maybe that's what I could have sworn that maybe I'm thinking of just then a regular attachment.
Yeah, I mean, technically you can build it, like you can build like an email template, export the HTML, and that could be a landing page. That's quite possible, but you may still have to do little tweaks when it comes to integrating that sign up form back with Salesforce. But otherwise, you can still use the content. Maybe a portion of the HTML could be your landing page, and then sign up form could be something different. But technically it's possible, but I would rather recommend to wait for this feature to be released sometime in the future.
Okay. Trying to think like the only really other like feedback that I've gotten from the team, and I know that there's like a roundabout way to do this, and I think this was on your roadmap at some point, was to resend to non-openers like in an easy way. Like in Constant Contact, there was a button, or what you could do like when you schedule the send was like have this go out tomorrow at 10 a.m. and then a week from tomorrow resend it to anybody who didn't open it. So like that functionality would be would be
helpful.
really nice. Yeah. Is that something that you guys have on the roadmap?
So what we have built is a relaunch, but that relaunch now. But what you want to do is you want to relaunch after a week or so. You want to schedule the relaunch, and you want to specify that right from the get-go, meaning when you schedule an outreach, that's when you actually want to mention this so that you don't have to go back again and say that, hey, click on this relaunch button and then send it to whoever did not open. That's
So
what
you,
it's saying.
oh, so you can just do like schedule a relaunch, and that when you do that, it automatically sends to just the non-openers or to everyone?
You can send it to non-openers. That feature is available, but the only thing is that you have to manually launch only to the non-openers. So
Right.
it's not schedule later feature. I think that's a good idea to actually build schedule later. We can certainly do that. But do you need the flexibility to actually change the email content as well, or the same content?
No, we usually do the same content. It was just like if I send it out for tomorrow at 10, then I want it to a week from tomorrow go to anybody who didn't open that the same exact template. We don't really change it after. That was just one of the things that's come up with it. And then the only thing, I just had a quick random question, and somebody opens, then they're listed in the opens, but they really only opened it to unsubscribe.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I thought. Then that would just be like manually exporting both of those Excel spreadsheets to cross-reference who actually opened it versus who opened it to unsubscribe.
Well, if they already unsubscribed, emails won't go through because they are already in suppressions, no?
I mean, like if they unsubscribed just from, like if I sent something today and I opened it and I unsubscribed, and then I go to the MassMailer outreach performance, I would be, because a lot of times too, what the BD team will do is say like, can you resend this to anybody who opened, to get like a more niche or more targeted campaign out. And I understand that like if that person subscribed, they wouldn't get it, but technically,
technically you're still looking them as openers.
Right.
But,
okay.
We would suppress them because they're part of suppressions.
Because they unsubscribe. Right. Exactly. Okay.
Yeah.
I think, the relaunch, a scheduled relaunch to just non-openers without having to do anything manually would be super nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was one thing that's come up.
Yeah.
So if I had like a campaign and I wanted the campaign owner to get an email alert if I unsubscribed from an outreach.
Yeah. So when you're unsubscribing, you're not really unsubscribing only from the outreach. No, you're basically unsubscribing from a category of emails or people unsubscribe. Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I mean more though. Like if somebody unsubscribes, is there a way to notify the campaign owner versus the contact owner?
You can actually configure a simple flow
that's what I figured.
inform the campaign owner versus the contact owner. That's possible to do it.
Yeah. I just figured if it was like because then you do if the email opt-out box is checked off. Like in theory, what has happened with our team is because there's been so much movement, like in Salesforce, if you reassign an account owner, it will automatically change all the contact owners associated with that account. But if you do if I've done bulk uploads to reassign accounts, it doesn't always change the contact owner. So I have to spend some time kind of cleaning the contact owners to match the account owner. But I'm sure it would probably be easy, if you own a contact and they unsubscribe, to let them know.
Yeah, it's possible to do it. It's just a matter of building a flow. Yeah, that can send a notification email. Right.
Yeah.
Other option is to create a report and schedule that report. That way they're not getting an email for every single unsubscribe, but they would actually get a report.
Right.
That's another option.
Yeah. Of their contacts that unsubscribe.
Right. Yeah. Send it every day or every week, something on those lines, and they get a consolidated view. Okay, these are the people who unsubscribed. Right. Yeah.
The only thing that I have noticed is that the MassMailer does seem to take up a lot of storage.
Right.
That's the only downside, I would say.
Have you explored the MassMailer purge feature, where we have the data purge feature?
Yeah, I think someone on your support team sent me the information on it. I think it's ultimately just like any old outreaches where we don't need to see who opened anymore. If they're years old, we can just delete, and then it would. That is something that I have to kind of circle back to.
Okay, yeah, that's that's been a lot of customers actually use that feature. They just set it up once, and then it cleans up all the old data periodically, right? Every day we clean it up. So you're not really even monitoring. Let's say you say, hey, I want to clean up all 6 months old data, 1 year old data, and set it up once, and every day it cleans up. So that way you're not really reaching that max limit at all.
Yeah, I'm gonna look into that.
Sure. So overall, if you had to say this is my favorite feature in MassMailer, what would that be?
I think my favorite feature in MassMailer is syncing the unsubscribe to the contact personally.
Okay, sure.
Yeah, because I used to get a
Yeah.
lot of emails from business development, please, and it was very manual.
Okay.
Yeah, probably that. And then
Mhm.
I like that you can add openers to a new campaign. I like that's pretty easy. Yeah, I would say it's pretty user friendly. But I would say the email, I really like the email opt-out syncing to the contact.
Sure. Wonderful. Yeah, we keep on enhancing that feature. All right. Yeah. Once again, yeah, thank you so much. This has been really helpful. You've been very kind to really answer all my questions and
Sure.
give me the story. Yeah. Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
of course.
Appreciate it.
Of course. And thank you for
Yeah.
all of your help always, Siva. I hope you have a nice
Mhm.
weekend.
Yeah, you too. Thank you. Take
Okay.
care.
Take care. Bye.
Thank you for tuning into this episode of the Salesforce Center podcast by MassMailer. We truly appreciate your time and interest. If you'd like to learn more about how MassMailer can help you simplify and supercharge your email outreach in Salesforce, visit us at massmailer.io or give us a call at 1-800-297-0991 or send us an email at hello@massmailer.io. We would love to hear from you. Until next time, I'm 𝗟𝗲𝗍𝗂𝗧, and we'll meet you again in the next episode of the Salesforce Center. Take care.